Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. Today I want to talk about a potential buff for Reaper that could solve all of the current problems we have with Mercy's new Resurrect as an ability. There's a way that we could bring back one of Reaper's old abilities that would greatly help solve the current problems facing the competitive ladder and pro matches. And just a quick reminder, I am doing a $20 Steam gift card giveaway this week. More details at the end of the video. So for those of you that have been playing Overwatch for a long time, you know that Reaper had a very different passive when Overwatch first started. What used to happen is whenever an enemy died, a small SOUL-ORB would drop to the ground. Only Reaper could see it, just like how only Mercy can see the friendly SOUL-ORBs for teammates that die. Reaper could then go over to these and collect them in order to regain some of his health. It was a passive ability that allowed you to quickly recover after a fight, but it really didn't do anything to help you during the fight. So Blizzard decided to change it. Right now, whenever you attack with Reaper, his passive gives a lifesteal ability. This means that anytime you damage someone, a portion of that damage is returned to Reaper as healing. Now, I really like this change. I think it made the character much better than before. And I'm definitely not suggesting that they get rid of lifesteal. If anything, I think that they should buff it a little bit, but that's a topic for another video. So let's quickly pivot though for a second and talk about the current problem that we have in Overwatch, because that's where all of this comes from. Mainly involving Mercy and her new Resurrect as an ability. When they changed Resurrect from an ultimate to just a regular ability, it made fights start lasting much longer. Much longer. Normally, a fight would last between 20 and 40 seconds, but now, some fights can last up to 2 full minutes, with Mercy resurrecting several teammates over and over again. The nerf she just got to her ultimate did reduce the total amount of resurrect she can do, but it's still very problematic in this whole kind of stalling situation that we've got going on right now. I'm sure most of you have experienced this firsthand in your own games, but nothing shows this more than watching the pro-level tournaments. I know many of you don't like watching the pro scene and you just don't care about esports in general, but just bear with me here for a minute. One of the main problems with the pro Overwatch right now is that the games tend to be a little bit on the boring side, and this Mercy change with the new Resurrect is making it all that much worse. In almost every match, both teams will have a Mercy, and you'll often see the same player getting resurrected multiple times in a single fight. The game has turned into a giant stalling match, where neither team is able to really get any sort of advantage over the other. It's just a constant poking until one of the enemy dies, but then that player is immediately resurrected, and the whole process starts all over again. So how can we fix this? Well, the easiest way would be to simply remove Resurrect from the game entirely. And I'm quite sure that there are some people that would like to see that. But I don't think it's something that Blizzard is ever willing to actually do. Resurrect is here to stay, love it or hate it. The alternative is continuing to nerf Resurrect more and more and more. But the problem with that is something that I've discussed before. The very nature of the Resurrect ability means that it is inherently powerful. Taking a hero that is currently at 0 health and bringing it up to full is something that will always have a very strong effect on the game, a very huge momentum swing. The only way to truly nerf it would be to increase the cooldown so much that Mercy as a character as a whole simply becomes garbage, and then the Resurrect goes from being very powerful to basically useless. I don't think that's a good idea either. So what can we do to fix this? Well, the answer is staring us in the face with that cold, uncaring, hateful skull mask. Overwatch is a game built for countering. It was made in this kind of rock, paper, scissors fashion where one character can always be countered by someone else. The problem is, there is really nothing in the game right now that can actually counter the Resurrect ability. So why don't we add one? Or, more precisely, why don't we reintroduce an old one? I say we should bring back Reaper's old passive, but in a slightly different way. First, he needs to keep the lifesteal that he has now. There's no way you can get rid of that without just breaking the character and making him really terrible. Specifically, we should bring back the old Reaper Soul Orbs, but rather than giving Reaper health whenever he picks one up, instead, it would prevent the dead player from being resurrected by Mercy. Quick example, right now you can have Reaper go in and destroy an enemy tank. Let's say for the sake of simplicity, it's just a Reinhardt. What happens is Mercy can then instantly resurrect Reinhardt and you're back at square one. But what if Reaper goes in, kills the Reinhardt, and then absorbs the Soul Orb, thereby making it impossible for Mercy to resurrect the dead player? Now, I know some of you might think, well, this is going to be too strong because it would make Mercy resurrecting impossible, and that's simply not the case. Reaper is not going to be everywhere all at once. He isn't going to be able to absorb every single Soul Orb that's on the battlefield. And chances are, if Mercy is standing right next to someone when they die, then 99% of the time, she'll be able to res that player before Reaper can ever try to get over there. What this would allow for is the Reaper to prioritize certain targets that you don't want the Mercy to be able to res. If you need a very specific enemy, whether it's a DPS or a tank or another healer, to stay dead, then you send in the Reaper. But what happens if several enemies die all at the same time in a relatively small area? Reaper could just run around grabbing all the Soul Orbs and just negate Mercy's Resurrect entirely, and we don't want that either. There is a way that you could deal with that by making it so that Reaper can only take one Soul Orb at a time. Then it would be on a small cooldown of some sorts. If you really wanted to get interesting, you could make it so that when Reaper takes the Soul Orb, it gives him some sort of a very small buff, right? Maybe he gets a little bit of a temporary health like Doomfist does whenever he uses his abilities. So Reaper picks up the Soul Orb, he gets 25 temporary health, but the thing is, as long as Reaper has that temporary health, he can no longer pick up any other Soul Orbs. So you get one, you get the 25 bonus temporary health, and then it slowly starts to tick down, just like it does for Doomfist. As soon as it's completely gone, then you can go and grab another Soul Orb. But this means that Reaper would have to be a lot more selective in which Soul Orbs he takes, instead of just running around the battlefield and gobbling them all up like candy. Or maybe instead of giving him a temporary health bonus, he would instead get something like bonus lifesteal, or a small movement speed increase, a small damage increase, or maybe it resets the cooldown of his Wraith form. Now that would be pretty cool. But even if it doesn't have any sort of extra benefit to it, the main purpose would be to have some kind of a counter in the game that allows at least one of the heroes to deny the Resurrect for Mercy. Alright, so real quick about the $20 Steam gift card giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, hit the notification bell, and then leave a comment down below. At the end of the week, I'll pick a winner, and I'll include you in either Saturday or Sunday's video. So make sure you watch the videos this weekend to see if you won. So what do you guys think about my Reaper buff suggestion? Do you think something else might be better? Let me know. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. The links are down below. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.